to share with you another one of my favorite Trim Healthy Mama recipes. This one is called Chocolate Nut Crunch Granola. And I usually eat this as a snack, but it obviously can be used as a breakfast food as well. Now, the recipe in the book is for a single serving, but I like to make up a bunch and keep it in a canister and then just have it on hand. So today I'm going to make 6 servings. So I'm going to sextuple it, as you might want to say. So for a single serving, you need a half a cup of old-fashioned oats. So since I'm making this 6 times that, I'm going to need 3 cups of rolled oats. So I'm going to use my handy-dandy Pioneer Woman 1 cup measure, and I'm going to measure out 3 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats. So there I have 3 cups of old-fashioned rolled oats in the bowl. Now the next ingredient that you're going to need is the sweetener. And the recipe calls for the use of the super sweet blend or gentle sweet, which are both Trim Healthy Mama sweeteners. Well, I don't use those sweeteners. I typically use coconut sugar, and once in a while I'll use some stevia drops. So for this recipe, I'm going to be using 1 tablespoon of coconut sugar per serving. So I'm going to be putting 6 tablespoons of coconut sugar in this bowl. If you are using coconut sugar, you can use up to 1 tablespoon of coconut sugar and still remain in an S setting, and you can use 1 tablespoon or more per serving in an E setting. I want to keep this, I don't want to go overboard, so I'm just going to add 1 tablespoon per serving, and that will be plenty sweet enough. So there I've added 6 tablespoons of coconut sugar to my bowl. Now the next thing you want to add is a pinch of mineral salt. Now remember, that's for 1 serving. So since I'm making this in bulk, I'm going to put in about 2 generous pinches of salt. You don't really want more than that because you don't want it to be salty. You just want to add the benefits of the minerals that are in salt. And also a little bit of salt makes anything sweet taste better. The next ingredient is 1 teaspoon of unsweetened cocoa powder. Now remember, I'm making this 6 times. So 3 teaspoons is 1 tablespoon. So I'm going to need to put 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder in my bowl. And the cocoa powder that I really like to use is the Hershey's Special Dark, because I like really dark chocolate. So there's 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Now the next ingredient you're going to need is some of this, any kind of peanut butter flour of your choice, whatever your favorite peanut butter flour is. I really like the PB Fit, and in this instance I'm going to be using the chocolate PB Fit. Now of course you can just use the regular, but I kind of wanted to up the chocolate flavor just a little bit. So I'm going to be using this. And it says to use 1 to 2 teaspoons per serving. So like I said, since I'm multiplying this and I want extra peanut butter, I'm going to go with the 2 teaspoon measure times 6, which will be 4 tablespoons. So I have 4 tablespoons of my peanut flour in here. The last ingredient that you're going to want to use is some oil of some sort, and I prefer to use coconut MCT oil. This oil is the lowest calorie oil that you can get, and it also burns up fastest in the body. And in Trim Healthy Mama, you are allowed to use up to 2 teaspoonfuls of MCT oil in an E setting, to remain in the E setting. I don't want to use that much. I'm just going to use 1 teaspoonful for my purposes here. So I will be adding 2 tablespoons of the MCT oil. Now, if you don't have MCT oil, you can use any other healthy oil like butter or avocado oil or olive oil. But in that case, if you use any other type of oil, you're going to want to just use 1 teaspoon per serving. Because you want to remain in an E setting. You don't want to, get into a crossover setting. Crossover is where you're having too much fat in an E setting or too much carbs in an S setting. Those are called crossovers. And you don't want to do that unless you are at your goal weight or if you're pregnant or lactating. You don't want to do crossovers. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is just take a spoon and mix this up thoroughly, making sure that all of the lumps are smashed out and that the oats are completely coated in the powder. So here I have everything combined really, really well. Now, according to the recipe in the book, this is supposed to be cooked on top of the stove in a skillet. Now, the very first time I tried this recipe, I did it according to the book. And I cooked it in my cast iron skillet on top of my stove. I don't know if it was just my imagination or what, but I swear I could taste like savory things in my oatmeal because I use my cast iron skillet for making taco meat or, spaghetti, all kinds of things. And I just felt like some of that residual flavor that's in the cast iron came out into my oatmeal, and I really didn't like that. So I decided I would try cooking it in the oven, and it works out really, really well. So what you need to do is just have a cookie sheet, take a cookie sheet, and you're going to want to line it with parchment paper. It just helps the oatmeal not to burn, and it helps with cleanup. So you're just going to want to pour this oatmeal, I hope you can see, on the cookie sheet. Spread it out evenly. Spread it out evenly on the cookie sheet. I have my oven set to, it's anywhere between 300 to 325. And you're going to want to cook this for 15 to 20 minutes in the oven, stirring frequently. At least stir it at least 3 times. And the goal is, and how you know it will be done, is when you can start to smell it, like a toasted smell, and the oats start to turn a golden brown. So when this is out of the oven and all done, I'll bring you back and I'll show you what it looks like. So here it is all done. It doesn't look a whole lot different than before you put it in the oven. Just like I said, the oats are just a little bit more golden brown. So what you're going to want to do now is let this cool completely on the pan, and then transfer it to an airtight container of your choice. And then what I do is I just keep a ½ a cup scoop in my container because a ½ a cup is 1 serving. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy trying this recipe. And if you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, and we'll talk to you later, my friends. Bye!